Gene Doll Studios presents the More Better Narrative podcast. This is episode 94 with BJ McMurtry, Rob Fusco, Mike Wahlberg, Jesse Annell, Mark Pennington, and Mike Armine.
I guess.
Well, now I'm not going to say it.
That's the stuff I'm
It's
interested
not
in.
bad.
I wasn't really that interested in it.
You know what? No one really cares what you think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark? I'm concerned about that.
Later.
Well,
Okay.
what?
Well, I'm interested in what you think.
I'm
Well,
interested
what?
in knowing everybody's name.
I'm Mike.
Mark Pennington.
I don't really give a fuck.
I'm also Mike.
I was not given a name at birth. I gave myself my own name.
So you picked BJ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be BJ because I like BJs. That's not how it works.
And I'm
You're
Rob.
gay.
No, you're gay.
No,
You're gay.
I hate that. Y-O-U-R. Like, you're gay. My what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Rob.
And me and Rob are apparently the only people that know to do a fucking intro to this podcast properly. Oh, Mike too. Yeah, that one, the real one. Did you do it too?
I also
Okay,
said my
well,
name.
never
I think
mind.
Jesse and
It's
I are
really
the
just
odd
Jesse.
Maybe you
ones.
should
It's
pay
really
more-
just
maybe you
Jesse
should
and
pay
BJ
more attention.
that totally dropped the ball on this intro.
Maybe you
God,
should pay more
nobody
Don't
knows
tell
how
me
to
what
do
to
an
do.
intro on this show except for 2/3 of us.
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
Fractions.
Yeah, I don't do fractions.
Sunday. I don't do math on Sundays.
Yeah.
Because that's the Lord's Day.
That's right.
Anyway.
There's a
Shomer
command
fucking
on that.
Shabbos!
Yeah.
Isn't that Saturday?
It's Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
But we gotta, you know.
You got to crowbar that
we have
shit
a
in
we have a
there.
Lebowski themed shirt here anyway, so I had to,
I'm a,
Yeah, he's only worn that shirt like 4 times a day for the last. Never mind.
4 times. I mean, he wore it,
Yeah, he
removed
takes-
I
it.
feel
Yeah,
like there's a lot of
exactly.
post
He's wearing it in the
separation
morning, he's
angst going on.
I feel like you guys need some alone time. Should we
It's like
go somewhere
it's like
else?
two
That would
puppies
be
who
nice.
can
Yeah, way more
cohabitate.
Yeah.
Two dogs can cohabitate and become pack mates, and you separate them for a while, and then they meet and they growl at each other
Yeah.
over the same, you know,
Where the
whatever.
fuck have you been?
But FYI, I am an ordained minister in the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
Nice.
So
You
can you
marry
marry
people?
people?
Hey.
Yeah. I'm an ordained minister in the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
You're an
the
ordained
slowest growing
Armine and
religion
I
in
are
the
going to
world.
get married.
Yeah, it's legal now.
You're actually already married.
Ordained manister.
What?
We actually legally are.
No, you are.
What?
What?
Your beards have commingled.
What?
What?
Co-mingle?
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Do
the
you
word. that wanna
mono-mingle?
use.
I wonder if
I mono-mingle.
I mingle with myself.
Yeah.
that soda's gonna explode.
Oh my God.
everywhere.
I know.
Here, I'll take the soda. I'll take the soda. I'll take the soda.
Why don't you give me the soda?
The fuck is
He's
wrong with you?
closer.
Yeah.
Didn't we have topics so
Oh.
we could avoid this kind of thing? First off, are there any emails?
Oh.
There are.
I've been gone for like a month, and I'm the one who has to run this shit.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Leave you alone for fucking.
Emails.
Come by.
So we have an email from Nil, N-I-L.
Oh yeah, that's Craig.
And
Hi,
okay.
Craig.
So our topic that Rob put forth today was to give Armine a new favorite band.
Yeah.
Whoa. Find your own shit. We're
No.
tired of hooking you up.
Are we?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be told, and I just want
Well,
like,
no.
some ideas.
We're thinking
No,
some
no, no, no.
some suggestions.
Yeah,
some-
No, why don't you turn
Because-
us on to shit? We're always turning you on to shit.
Well-
when was the last time you hooked me up or turned me on to anything?
Whores.
Fuck you. No, actually,
That was about 4 months ago.
Well, speaking
you were
of,
there.
Speaking of new music, Craig Nil, the guy who writes in, he's one of my buddies, and he is like probably one of the greatest sources of like new and awesome like aggressive music ever. Like if I need like something new and awesome, all right, Craig, I need something that sounds like so and so, this, that, and the other, and needs to be like tuned to C. He's like, he'll come up with like a list of like bands that have nothing but like just no vowels in their name whatsoever. And like, here you go. Here's like 10 bands that sound like what you want. And he's incredible. He's encyclopedic.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Nice.
So I hope
Like
he
when
gets
Narrows became Nurs.
to nerds. I hope he gets to come on the trip that I'm planning for Death Fest 2015. It's like me and like him and Chrissy and a bunch of like lamb goat retards who are just going to be like, it's going to be a 15-passenger van full of like,
Nice.
it's going to be stupid, and I want I think we should try to get enough people where we convoy like a series of 15-passenger vans
passengers?
with like walkie-talkies and like sirens and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that
my
sounds
god,
awful.
it's going to be amazing. It'll
I'm
be a
bored.
total train wreck.
I'd be
And
down.
one of
That'd be
them, for
pretty
some
sweet.
reason, is dragging a radio flyer wagon.
I've never actually been to a Maryland Death Fest yet. I'd love to go.
Yeah, neither have I. So I thought, okay, 2015. This is the year, and
Looks like that's
Fuck
next
yeah.
year.
I'm down.
this is the year, as in if I was already in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Just speaking hypothetically.
Future, present tense.
The next
Anyway.
upcoming one.
I need a new favorite band.
What he means.
Oh yeah,
He suggests Harasser should be everyone's favorite band.
Harasser is
I want to
pretty.
write these notes down.
Harasser is pretty goddamn.
You can just
good.
go back and listen to the podcast later.
I could, but that takes... If it's not written down for
You have to
me,
get through all the BS that we just went through already.
I know. Which is funny.
Is it?
I think so.
in a
Depends.
quiet comedy kind of way. Yeah.
And then he
Harasser.
also writes, also, when you accidentally watch the World Cup, do you feel your soul loose from your body like a post-constipation poopy?
Yeah, I am so pissed off about the World Cup. Every year I'm pissed off. Every time the World Cup happens, I get real fucking annoyed.
Why?
I haven't
Because-
watched anything or paid attention to anything pertaining to it.
They build these gigantic arenas and they displace hundreds of thousands of people in every country they go to, and no one talks about it.
Did you watch that John Oliver thing?
John Oliver talked about it.
That was fucking amazing.
And no one talks about it. He talked about it. He talks about it.
Yeah, like
No
one
one
guy,
talks
but like the
We're
World
talking
Cup,
about it.
The World Cup gets so much fucking coverage. It gets so much coverage, and that like a small fraction of the media is like, oh, just so you know, like so this many hundreds of thousands of people
I
displaced
love the
in
point
South
that
Africa.
John Oliver made is no one loves soccer more than the country of Brazil, and they rioted over the World Cup being in their country. I mean, that's insane.
And you've got these these little small groups that are protesting against it, and they're being the
Now,
media
are the
spinning
groups
it.
small or are the people in the groups small?
Maybe both.
I think both.
Okay.
But
That probably has more to do with malnutrition.
the media is spinning it as if these are like crazy like left-wing terrorist cells, and they're just like, no, they're fucking really pissed off because of just the inequality that's set up by the World Cup being the way that it's orchestrated.
And then on the flip side, did you hear about the German fan that rushed onto the pitch the other day?
No.
So
The Germans.
yeah, a German dude ran onto the pitch and took off his shirt, and he had all like this pro-Nazi message, like SS bombs.
Oh
and
wow.
whatever.
And then there's that.
And, like, nobody in security tried to stop him, and he had to actually be taken off the field by one of the Ghana players.
I'm gonna
Really?
write something
Yeah.
real quick.
All right.
Wow.
God, that must have been so demeaning for that dude.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
must have
like-
been so mad about
Let
it.
me safely escort this racist
then-
off the field.
Yeah.
The
Like a Ghana player, is like,
Yeah.
hey,
I love
see
this
this guy with this massive swastika across his chest. Let's
Let's
come with
remove
me,
him.
pal.
Yeah.
Let's get this dude out of here.
Let me
man.
just
He's-
usher you off.
Yeah.
And security's
And-
like, I don't see a problem.
Yeah,
Apparently, fucking Chilean fans after because my cousins are going nuts about them like stomping the shit out of Spain on Facebook. Apparently, I don't watch this shit.
Like
so
the
I don't know.
entire country.
Yeah, the entire country. No, but like apparently Chilean fans are rioting, and they apparently got mad when the mayor of Santiago told them that they couldn't all have outdoor barbecues because there's enough smog in the city already, and they got really.
If there's enough
Something
smog
like
in
that.
the city already, what does it matter? You get a little.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, Santiago, it's like in the middle of this like big like mountain
Is
range
smog
basin.
created
There's,
from
like,
barbecues?
I mean,
I think it depends like what you burn.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's just kind of hazy smoke, so I don't see why
If
not.
you grill somebody from LA, then yes, it creates smog.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
from some spots in China.
People from LA are fossil fuels.
That's true.
That's great.
From LA or something.
Somebody from Wisconsin smells like cheese. And
Yeah, you
Just
can't grill
shove 'em
people
in the
from
coal
Wisconsin.
furnace.
You cannot grill people from Wisconsin
They'll
because they
melt
melt
all
right through the grill.
Yeah.
You can
just turn
batter
into
them and
delicious
fry them.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
You can.
So people from LA just take them by the shovel load and just shove them in the coal furnace like.
So are we just steak meat for cheesesteaks? Is that like the...
Yeah.
Or did I just kill the joke?
No,
Yeah.
I-
no, I think we're
No.
oats.
We're just statistics.
Okay. Yeah, we are.
So yes,
Harasser.
very good.
But speaking of oats, I posted a article for people here to read. I don't know if anybody did. Armine was reading when he came in.
It's pretty good.
But the article about the Amish leaving Pennsylvania,
Where are they off to?
not here.
Shit.
I think the article
Mars.
says either in Western New York, Kansas, or Kentucky. Sorry, I know it was one
Yeah,
of the
they're
K's.
kind of more well suited to
or,
some shitty little
Wisconsin.
town in the Midwest.
But the
to
whole
be
the whole
honest.
thing is the fact that the Amish lifestyle has become a like a sellable commodity, and so they're like, okay, we're done, goodbye.
I did have a weird moment. I guess it was around April. I went into a McDonald's, and I see this guy there, sitting down as I'm walking in. He's eating a burger, and he has a Abraham Lincoln beard and suspenders, and I'm like, God, what a hipster douchebag. And then I'm like, oh shit, that's an Amish guy. I'm an asshole.
It's hard to tell sometimes. It's really hard to fucking tell.
Is it Brother Hezekiah or is it some jerk off from Brooklyn?
Is it fucking Tyler from Brooklyn who's...
Oh, he doesn't have a lizard on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He must be Amish.
Okay, here's a dead giveaway. If they have pockets, they're a hipster. No pockets in the shirt,
Amish don't use pockets.
I didn't know that.
as far as I know.
Yeah.
Because if you have a pocket, you gotta have something to put in the pocket.
No
and you
buttons.
hey, check out what I have that you don't have, or some
That
bullshit.
doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have. I mean, he doesn't
I have
have
a
a
pocket.
button. He doesn't have a button there. Ooh,
I have a button here.
Ooh, hello. Sorry.
Why
Sorry.
am I in the middle of all this bullshit?
Uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I was
Wait,
doing.
are we
Slightly
done?
aroused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we
there's
just
more to say
decide
about
that
the Amish.
Harasser was your favorite band now?
No, like, we didn't talk about why
I'm
you
the
favorite
harasser.
band or like
Yeah.
none of
There's
that.
another one pertaining to.
I've
the,
had Tears for Fears like going on and repeat in my brain. I don't
There's-
know
there's
where
another
it
one,
came from.
Who is her?
This morning I woke up to Fine Young Cannibals. She drives me crazy on a loop in my head.
You know what?
should
I
listen
recently
to
read
it.
an article about that phenomenon.
What the fuck is happening to me?
Well, nothing. You're
Obviously,
completely
you're
normal.
listening to
That's
too
good.
much B101.1.
Yeah.
That
should,
happens to everybody. It's like your mind is like a camera and a tape recorder, and like things get stuck in like an auto feedback loop where it's.
I opened my eyes this morning and it was.
What happens if I leave the
It
shutter
was.
open too
She
long?
drives me crazy, and I'm like, what the fuck?
No, the song is driving you crazy.
It's a
This
pretty
happens to
killer
me.
tune, man.
It is a
I
pretty good
fuck
one, right?
with it, yeah.
This happens to me sometimes when
Oh,
Yeah, we're back.
but seriously, Armine, you should listen to Void. They were a pretty good band.
Void?
They were fucking awesome.
I've really been getting into the wipers lately.
They were a good band too.
Sam
Over the
Conway on
Edge is a fucking
Facebook says
great album.
Armine's new favorite band is Plebeian Grandstand. For serious, look them up.
Void.
Yeah, you should listen.
Plebeian.
The
Grandstand.
Void side of the
I'm
split
actually
LP
surprised
with
you haven't
Faith
heard
is
of
the
Void.
fucking best
Yeah,
music
how
of
can
all
you not
time.
have heard of
Plebeian Grandstand.
Plebeian Grandstand.
Well, it's like
Plebeian Grandstand.
it's.
Plebeian Grandman.
PB and J.
I just like Hot Water Music has been my
Stand.
favorite band for years and years and years, and I love
mean
that
Fugazi
band.
okay.
Live?
Forever and County is like one of the best.
One of the best records, right?
I think I'm the only one that.
But
knows that.
recently I've been at a loss for like what to go to on the iPod, right? Like
Do
Well,
you
if
listen
you
to
like-
Hum?
I love Hum.
All right.
But I need something like new and fresh. To
Well, you
be
know
the
what?
soundtrack
Do you,
to my
if you listen to
30s,
Hot Water
right?
Music, do you like Leatherface?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, their album Mush is like fucking mind blowing.
Well, you know what I did to address that, and it's actually turned me on to shit on my iPod that I have on my iPod that I wasn't that familiar with. I made a huge playlist
Yeah.
of there's like 5,500 songs on there, and that is one of the reasons I recently got into the Wipers, because Mark gave me like 3 Wipers albums, and I listened to them a little bit, but I didn't really click with them. And then one of these songs comes up on this massive playlist I had. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And it blew my mind.
What song was it? Youth of America?
Fuck
That's
yeah.
a killer fucking song, dude. The guitar.
Youth
playing
of
on that
America
song's
may be one of the
mind-blowing.
best punk rock songs ever written.
Yeah, and it's like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it's like
and the
it came
guitar
out in like
solos are
1980, and
incredible.
it's like a 10-minute long,
Yeah.
feedback drenched. Like in the middle of it, it has a 4-minute feedback drenched guitar solo that would make Hendrix go, huh?
Yeah, I'm just at a loss. Like Coalesce still is one of my favorite bands of all time, but they were sort of the soundtrack to my late 20s. So it's like now I need something that I'm just super stoked on.
Now
that's
you're in
new
your
and
early
fresh.
40s.
Yeah.
I know basically. I kind of got depressed recently when I realized I know basically nothing about new music that isn't rap, like at all. Like I mean,
I know even less than that.
Like the only records I check out, like are like new records by bands that like have like a reputation for being awesome, like that last Gorguts album and shit like that.
Super good. Colored
Yeah,
Sands
that's
is
so
amazing.
good, man.
Also, two other new albums that deserve mention: the new Origin. Death metal album of the year, full stop. This album is fucking incredible.
I've seen them.
They were
I
good
have
live.
not stopped listening to this album. That and the new Thou.
Oh,
Even-
yeah.
That's a good one.
It's
yeah.
like you can't fuck with these out and like New Animals as leaders. Enough. New Animals as leaders.
If I want to hear Meshuggah, I'll listen to Meshuggah.
It's
Who,
not
by
even
the way,
Meshuggah
played a
anymore.
secret show at St. Vitus last night.
Who did?
Meshuggah.
Oh wow.
No shit.
God,
Animals as leaders kind of. It reminds me a lot of. I think we've talked about this, Rob. But like, it kind of reminds me a lot of like the bands that like the guys from Cynic were in, like after Cynic.
Yep.
You know, just like that kind of like technical kind of jazz fusion influence
The
kind
thing
of
that
stuff.
the thing that bothers me about that band in particular is I think that guitar player is really good,
Yeah, Towson is really good.
but
He's like,
he's not doing anything original.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree wholeheartedly. Like, and I
Ugh.
think if you listen to,
I find whenever I hear people playing that style of music, especially with them, because I've tried to get into them several times. There's something about the production that's too clean.
okay, if you listen to,
But then like my immediate and it's not just them. When I make this comment, it's any band that does this. My immediate reaction is, well, I want to hear this and compare it to Meshuggah, and then I just listen to Meshuggah.
fair. I think if you listen to Alan Holdsworth stuff, before Alan Holdsworth, nobody sounded like Alan Holdsworth. After him, lots of people sounded like Alan Holdsworth. And I think Towson and what he's doing with Animals as Leaders is having a similar effect,
It is, and you can see it with a lot of the younger bands that we've played with, specifically that one band that we played with in Chicago on the last U.S. run that we did. A lot of young kids are looking up to that guy.
Sure.
And people who are playing at that level. And it's much like skateboarding, right? Like, if you can't kickflip or do a hard flip on, like, your first day out skating, it's like, why the fuck am I even bothering, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got people doing, like switch flip, blunt slide, backside flip outs,
Yeah.
and they're like amateurs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's
that
not
means.
even like professional
Did I hear the
skating
word
anymore.
Blunkin in
Right.
that?
So it's like
Yes.
music is the same thing. You've got these very young
Blunkin
kids
420
playing
kick front slide.
really outrageously technical parts.
Sure. Sweeping
as this
arpeggios.
Sweep and just and the finger work is crazy.
Like, who are you, Mike Scoville?
The problem with that is like, I think that too much, and it's something where I have to agree, not agree, but kind of like shift it more towards where Jesse's coming from, is that what's left out of that is any sort of like emotive playing.
I understand and I agree.
Yeah.
I agree to that point. And if you listen to bands like Necrophagist
Right.
versus
Yeah.
Origin,
yeah.
like Origin does Necrophagist better than they do, right? It's like technical,
a lot
like
significantly
yeah, for sure. And if you want just like dry technical noodling and just
Yeah.
emotionless or
Yeah,
whatever.
'cause
Okay, cool.
honestly, I fucking hate that. I hate when like there's a certain point where music gets too technical to the point where I just kind of like just lose all interest in
I-
it.
I
But like
agree, yeah.
when a band like kind of like has when a band's like technical and they're innovative and they can write good songs and good albums, because to me the writing is the most important part. I honestly don't really care how fucking how well you can play if you can't make good and interesting music.
I agree, and I think what's more important than a single person's ability to play or compose is band chemistry.
Right.
Like
Definitely.
fully important. That's why Starkweather worked so well
Yeah.
for so long, because the way they wrote their stuff, Todd would just like write riff after riff, and then Rennie would take these tapes and then like memorize them, and then arrange them, and then bring them to Harry and be like, hey, you think you can do something with this? And then they would flesh it out in practice. The aspect that created such an emotional charge is very present there, not so much with like a lot of like dry technical stuff, but I
But
think
in
it
reference-
is in Animals as Leaders. Like some of their stuff is super, like there's no vocals, there's no nothing, but like the phrasing and how Towson speaks through his instrument, and quite frankly sometimes outplays his instrument,
Right.
is very like emotionally charged.
I don't know if I agree with that. To me, I find their music really boring, derivative, and I've tried to listen to it, and I just tune out. It's just too technical, and it's not like I don't know. It just doesn't catch my interest at all. And not only that, like he's doing nothing that Frederick from Meshuggah wasn't doing in the '90s.
He's doing a lot. It's just if you're listening to the first album, that's the most Meshuggah-y, and then the second one has this very like electronic element to it.
Yeah, real glitchy, kind of
Right.
like interesting
And
electronic
then
stuff.
I listened to the third album, and I just like something about it didn't click with me. It wasn't, you know.
Me too at first, but then I gave it a few more spins, and it's like now my favorite album of theirs. Like for sure.
Again, Animals as Leaders.
And
is
by the
one
way,
that-
I have had several people tell me that I need to get into that band, and every time and you know maybe
I think that just means that you're, you know, wrong.
but like what happened with the band The Wipers, like it took like one specific song to kind of
Right.
open that band up to me, and I'm not saying that's not going to happen to Animals as Leaders,
But
at
dude,
some point.
I
but-
also think like, and it's really interesting that we're having this conversation about like getting into certain things, because for a while there, like you were pushing My Bloody Valentine on me. Do you remember?
Oh, I
that
remember.
phone
I
call?
remember doing it with.
I'm at Tower Records, right? And this is after I'd worked
Oh,
there. This is
Tower.
about when they were shutting down. And he's like, "What are you buying?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm looking for a copy of Loveless." And this is where I was dating this girl at the time who was really into My Bloody Valentine. And his response from the phone was, "It takes a pair of tits, doesn't it?" And I think, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I guess it does, because he had been pushing them. And I'm like, I'm not ready for it, but I meet this girl and she loves it, and we're playing all the time, and then I love it. Like sometimes you need that experience.
What made
to,
you
like,
finally
get you
like
into-
Meshuggah? Because when we started spinning it in the van
What
on
happened
tour,
with Botch,
he
too?
hated.
But that was the thing. I hated
Meshuggah.
it. I hated it, but it wasn't until we were on tour. I forget what year it was, but we're sitting in the van. It was late at night, and you put on Catch 33, and we were all having a very good time. It was part where there was a string of shows that were just going really well for us, and I was just like, I fucking get this
You
now.
were finally in a good
Yeah.
I'm
mood.
finally in a place where I can accept this into my life. This is awesome. I understand. It was like, then like the next year Obzen came out, and I was listening to that every day when I would ride my bike to school.
However, the best comment ever was not to Meshuggah. It was to, I think, we were listening to like some black metal band.
Like Living Color.
No,
God,
it was a no.
King's X. Jesus Christ!
But like
King Sex.
Like, not even Mad Ranger.
Yeah. King Sex.
But it's I think Matt put it on, and it starts playing, and he's just like, why do they always use that double kick all the time
Yeah.
in every song? And Matt and I laughed at him.
Well, he did the same thing with Botch. He
I
hated,
Botch. I couldn't stand Botch for the longest fucking time. And it was just, there was the right context where I was able to hear Botch in a different way. For me, it's not, you can give me a record and I'm like, that's alright. But when I have this experience like latched onto the album is when I'm finally like, this record rules. You know?
That's why I'm not
So
too-
any new music that I present to you, I now have to present to you right after a good
Hand
show
jobs. Just
with
make
a
sure he's
picture of
getting a hand
boobies.
No, we shouldn't be feeding this information to him. We should be giving it to Jillian.
Right.
Jillian, give him this music tomorrow.
No, just be like, Jillian, there's this really awesome new band. You should check it out. And then it'll slowly disseminate to Armine. And
trickle
Armine will be here next year being like,
The-
have you guys listened to Behemoth? That band is fucking awesome.
We play with them, right? Because they were awful when we played with them
It
at
was
that fest.
Emperor.
But damn
We
it,
were
they're
listening
great
to
now.
Emperor.
Oh, I can't get into Emperor.
I can't. I've seen that. I can't do
It
it.
sounds like evil clown music.
My favorite description of Emperor ever was by Chris Bickle from that band Inhumanity, where he said that it sounded like a helicopter flying over the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
I saw Emperor at New England Metal and Hardcore Fest like years
my
ago.
God.
They had dudes for the whole time they were playing just walked from left to right on the stage with giant swords.
Oh my
hung
god.
in
Good.
there. That was it.
Fucking
Good. It was weird.
Can you imagine that that's your job? Like, that's your art form. Like, you go on tour, with Emperor.
What would Rosetta?
with your two-handed
What would
sword.
Rosetta's equivalent to that be?
Tickets
Your
for
What
file
would
plays
Rosetta's
and
equivalent to
everything.
having a guy carry a sword?
Look, if I
A
could,
dude in an astronaut suit running across the stage just going,
Okay, we've got to do that.
Jesse,
Someone's got to volunteer.
Jesse, we
for
found
that.
you a job. Now we just have to get the astronaut suit.
and
Yeah.
the budget.
I want to see the guy
astronaut.
who runs across the stage wielding a sword just fill out his taxes and under occupation just sword wielder.
Sword wielder, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
Theatrical swordsman.
Yeah.
And not in the way you'd think.
Well, maybe not even theatrical. Maybe
We
he
got-
just like means that shit. Like they dug him up. Like they were in Scotland and they found this dude and
Some
his
Renaissance
brother. Not even out in a field in fucking Scotland. Like dudes are just running around with swords.
They're
They're
just
like,
like, I want that. I want that.
what are you guys doing tomorrow?
And for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Well, some of those. I mean, I remember I was in Union Square once, and there was a dude. He had a giant sword out, and he like tapped it on the ground, right, and then like, so you knew that it wasn't retractable, and then he swallowed that shit and like let it hang in his belly, like he just kind of like let it hang, and then he pulled it out, and we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dudes are crazy.
It was
I
obviously
don't know
retractable.
where that. No.
No,
Swallowed.
sword swallowing's a real thing.
He obviously has
Yeah.
a black hole in his throat.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Black hole in the throat.
No, the movie Black Hole, the Disney movie Black Hole.
You mean
ever
Black
seen it?
Cauldron?
No, Black. God.
Black Cauldron. was
Black
a good
Fantasia?
movie, yeah, that
You know
was-
what?
Why has it got to be black?
Niagara Falls.
Because it is black.
Anytime, yeah, that's racist. Anytime Gurgi like is bummed out and he's like, all right,
Do you really
nonsense,
want to fly
nonsense.
through
I'm like,
space
oh, Gurgi,
and
I'm
pass
so
the
sorry you're
white hole?
hungry.
I know, right?
I want to give Gurgi an
Doesn't
apple
sound good.
every day for the rest of my life and keep him from jumping in the goddamn cauldron with a little mustachio. He's like a micro Wilford Brimley with a cute voice.
I know,
Fucker.
man. That movie's brutal,
I
man.
want to smush him into a little Gurgi ball and stuff him in my mouth. I love him.
Oh.
What's a Gurgi ball?
I don't know. I just kind of came up with it.
I like this
When you take- when you-
new term, Gurgi ball.
Gurgi ball.
Armine's new favorite band.
Gurgi ball. Yeah, I think that might be it.
Gurgi ball.
Gurgi ball.
All right.
Gurgi
Somebody
ball.
start a band called Gurgi Ball,
Gurgi Ball.
and Armine will be your number one fan.
That might
Which is
be.
weird because I already have a band called Gurgi's Balls. So close.
Huh.
Is that named after the porno of the same name?
Yeah.
Or is that Fergie's Balls?
The Black Eyed Peas cover band.
Black.
I believe they're a tribute band.
These are like Black Hole in the Throat and Gurgi's Balls. It's like one is a sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody needs to name their band White Hole.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm sure it'll happen.
I'm sure it's already.
Yeah.
There's no way that does not exist.
Yeah.
There's White Snake. Why not White Hole?
Yeah. I'm down.
Could you do a
End conversation.
bleached anus white hole split?
Holy shit! You're right. We should.
See,
Yeah.
that would be a good grindcore split.
With whom?
Bleached anus and white hole.
Fair.
Why? Again, a room full of people with smartphones, and none of us is smart enough to look up if anybody has already
Well, the
called.
phone is
sick.
locked.
supposed to be
Have to put in a
smart.
code.
I'm
That's
just trying
the
to.
point.
I'm trying to figure out if I should play
He's
Bishop.
playing chess.
I'm trying to figure out if I should play Bishop F4.
Doggies!
There is actually apparently a White Hole theory. Yes, there is a band called White Hole.
Knew
Nice.
it.
Naturally.
And it looks like they use a 0 as the O.
Yeah, it looks like they're based on their typography. It looks like they're
Oh.
drums, flute, and guitar.
Heaviest band in the world.
Dude, well,
Song
if that
number
flute
one.
is mic'd and run through like a bunch
Ex-members of
pedals
Waco
and a
Jesus.
bass. Oh,
Song number 1, slow one. Song number 2, fast one. Song number 3, quantum guest plus bass.
So they named their songs after the band members.
Song number 4, new old one. Song number 5, loner
What is
song.
this on Bandcamp?
Oh my god.
Song
like
number
some bull-
6, Kevin's song.
It sounds like
I'm a
some-
loner, Dottie. A rebel.
Rebel.
Yep.
Lifetime. Hello, bastards.
Armand's new favorite band.
Smell your arm.
Smell like coffee?
Yeah, actually, you do.
I want to see what fast one is, and if it's not Unholy Grave fast, I
Yeah,
don't care.
fuck it. This sounds nothing like Crossed Out. I don't want to hear it anymore.
I'm digging it. It sounds like the music that plays in my head all day.
What you're doing when you're landscaping?
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody's
No,
like
I'm walking
laying
through the-
across
no,
all their instruments, having a grand mal seizure.
When Jesse pretends that he's a secret agent, he hears that.
He's like up against the wall, like, with not even with a gun, with his hand like this.
Yeah.
Have we,
Cloak and dagger type shit.
have we talked about that movie Edge of Tomorrow on the podcast?
Fuck!
What?
That is the best goddamn movie ever. I saw it
I know.
again yesterday.
I saw it yesterday
Like Starship
for the
Troopers
first time.
and Groundhog Day.
Is
It was-
everybody
No,
seen
dude,
it?
dude.
No.
Have you seen it?
It was
No, I haven't
good.
seen it.
I haven't
Dude.
seen it.
Dude!
It was a little bit better than the exploited song "Troops of Tomorrow," but not as good as the Cro-Mags' "Age of Quarrel." But it was a
Okay,
good movie.
what about Suicidal Tendencies' Memories of Tomorrow? Better
Fuck
than
that
song?
band.
Yeah, that was
Were
a
you
good,
the
that's a
one
good
that
What
said
about
it
the
was
band
Tom
Scars of
Cruise?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, alright.
Yes.
It's better than Scars of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think a
I'd
lot
say
of
so.
things
I'd
are
put
better
it
than
on
Scars of
there.
Tomorrow.
I don't even know what Scars of Tomorrow sounds like.
Yeah, I don't even know what
Like
it
the
is.
Misery Signals era of metalcore.
Oh wow.
Were there more emails?
No,
There's one more.
We're not done talking about the movie.
Well, we can't because these three heathens haven't seen it yet.
Best movie I've ever seen. Go see it.
That's a good movie.
It's the best science fiction movie to come out in like 10 years.
I'd put it way up there. Very good.
Way up there.
Alright.
I mean, it's on the level of like Blade Runner and shit.
Really?
It's
really
fucking
awesome.
amazing.
Alright.
It's honestly it was
It's the
quiet,
best
it was
science fiction
quietly
movie
my
to come
favorite
out
movie of the
since
year
that.
so
No
far.
shit.
Like
No,
I
for
didn't
sure.
expect it to be nearly as good as it was.
Okay.
Like I went into that movie. This is all I'm
The
gonna
beautiful thing was that the trailer, it revealed absolutely nothing.
Say. A matter of fact, the trailer made the movie look stupid.
Yeah.
I legitimately did not give a fuck about that movie until I saw some reviews on it, and they were all saying, "Holy shit, you need to go see this movie. This movie's," and I was like, "Well, I like science fiction. I was planning on seeing it anyway. I just didn't have a lot of enthusiasm about it." And then I went and saw it. Holy shit!
That good, huh?
The first scene when they show the just go see it. It's fucking amazing.
It's phenomenal.
Hey,
Just wigging the fuck out.
just for reference, that dog was this big.
That dog bit the fuck out of my legs once. I just have this.
Yeah, his dogs are. If his dogs were Armine's dogs, we'd all be dead.
That's the funny thing is that I've actually been bit by big
You got your
big dogs.
You got your finger. See, you got little nibbles on your ankles from my dog.
And I'm like, "Ah!"
whereas your dog bit off your fingernail.
I've gotten involved in pit fights where I've taken
No,
the
back
dog.
You don't want to admit that.
Whoa.
On camera.
No. Like, I've done a broke him up.
Fighting
Broke him up. No.
you
No, I
Psycho
said.
Vic over
You know
here?
what? No, I've been there.
And I've had the dogs by their collars, and the dog that's got the other dog by the scruff. I've had to put my hand underneath the lip and pull it up.
Yeah.
So you actually make the dog like bite itself to unhinge the jaw. It's the only way I know how to do it, and I have no fear of doing this.
Scar here, scar here.
Yeah, I've
scar
got
here.
it here, and before I was tattooed here, I got clamped there.
You know
But
that
those two
there's-
little things come running in, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god.
They're
But like
wild
big
cards.
snarled pit bull, I'm like,
You know
no,
that
it's
falconers
fine.
wear
Little
gloves
Yeah,
to
no
protect
problem.
themselves from the animal.
Oh, dude, what'd you do?
glasses dropped.
No big deal. Carmi and Conan, rest in
Man,
peace.
yeah, I've but your little dogs, I'm like, oh my god. But like giant, huge, gnarly, nasty animals that are mean, I'm like, hey buddy.
Well, it's kind of like people.
What's up?
It's kind of like people that can go in the water.
Again, she drives me crazy.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like the people that can go in the water and swim with sharks, but
Right.
then they get on land and they're scared of a spider,
Right. I don't
they get mugged.
understand it.
or they get.
Because I'm telling you,
They
man,
get
like when I first brought Miles Davis home, and he's dog aggressive.
The
right?
actual Miles Davis, not the
And
dog.
he-
He reincarnated him.
He
Oh,
he
wow.
went to get. I was holding him back because he was trying to get to a dog that was across the street, and this is like day 4 of me owning him. He clamped me on my calf, and it just. I'm like, all right, and I corrected him, and it was fine. It's the last time he's ever done it, but like, that doesn't hurt nearly as much as like 1,000 little razor pricks from your little dog clamping at my Achilles tendon.
Yeah, like little piranha pups.
Yeah.
They have homing devices to know exactly where the pain center
Like
is.
my dog is 350 pounds of pressure per square inch is clamped on my calf muscle. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Your little dog. I'm like, oh my, stop it!
You know, I would rather.
I think it's more like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dog's just like,
just looking up.
hanging up.
I had the
I'd
same
rather
thing
deal
happen to me
with
a
a
while
giant
ago.
dog than a swarm of bees. You know.
Right.
Oh, no way.
Ooh.
Oh. So one more email. This is from Nala.
Yeah.
She says, "Hi.
Hey.
I have a question for Armine.
Oh god.
Does your car run on OJ biodiesel?
Oh man.
If not, you
I
should
wish.
try. It seems to be doable, and so your car will become legendary Armine's OJ Radmobile.
I would love that. So when I shut it down, it smelled sweet instead of like
Legendary
Veggie
Armine.
farts.
Legendary Armine's OJ Radmobile.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
down with that.
I mean, O.J. Simpson?
I am selling WVO for 25 cents
Like
a
the
gallon
white
if anybody is
Jeep?
interested.
You're
If I
selling
have
what?
enough of it. Oil for a
Hmm.
quarter a gallon. Totally clean.
What does the W stand for?
Waste.
Waste vegetable oil.
Yeah. What my car runs on. So I'm selling it for a quarter a gallon.
I may need to talk to you because I'm thinking about getting into some foxy boxing stuff, and that might be cool.
Wait.
Foxing.
Dude, if you're gonna set up a Foxy boxing event, you don't even have the courtesy of getting fresh vegetable oil.
What is Foxy boxing?
Like
AKA
the-
foxing.
Yes.
Foxing?
You put two little foxes and like douse them in vegetable oil and then just let them go at it. No, not
Foxy boxing.
Fairly
Oh,
certain it
no,
involves
it's just-
boobs.
really. Yeah. It's just
Oh!
You are an idiot!
So like all these lights are just turned on, and another one just went on.
Yeah, no, I thought he meant like actual foxes.
No,
Like
this is,
fighting each other. Because we just had the whole dog fight thing you guys were insinuating, and I
Where are we going to eat after this?
no, this isn't the
We
fucking
have band
British
practice.
Empire, dude.
We have our final band practice before we leave on tour.
Before you all die.
Before we break up.
You know how many
Where
horror
are you going
movies
on
I've
tour?
seen? Hey, let's go tour China.
0.
No, yeah,
That's why this is going to be so awesome.
That's why this is such an original story. Rosetta's about to tour China for 3 weeks.
I can't wait for the found footage.
Well, I'm bringing the GoPro with me.
All right, so where are we going to eat after this?
I don't know. Where do you want to go
I
eat?
want,
I don't know. What do you think?
I want some,
pizza.
yeah.
I want
pizza.
Chinese
Fuck yeah.
food. I want Chinese food.
Chinese?
I
What
don't
kind
even
of-
know.
we're going to
What
China
kind of
for
Chinese
3
food will you
weeks.
eat?
Go to ping pong?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
What will you order?
Ping pong.
Last time I went there, it wasn't great.
Fuck you. You say that about everywhere.
Is
Not
this,
true.
is this an on?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Defense!
God
Defense!
damn it!
Hey, you're gonna,
I let my guard down.
you're
God
gonna,
damn
You're
it!
going to muss his hair all up.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They got a lot of emotional
Oh
problems.
my god!
Yeah.
Please end this episode so I don't get fucking elbowed in the face.
Yeah.
Well, Rob is hungry.
Bam, 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 bam,
I
bam.
am BJ McMurtry.
I'm Mike Wahlberg.
You skipped Rob.
No, Rob is hungry. He just
Oh.
spoke on my behalf, which is okay.
No, fucking awesome. Dude.
You can go fuck yourselves.
Mark
you're real hostile.
Pennington. Yeah.
He's all covered in spikes
He's all
today.
covered in spite. Spikes.
Say your name.
Spikes.
Mike's Armine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
My
Well,
name's
I'm-
Mike
I'm sad that we
Armine.
didn't
My
hear from,
vagina hurts.
I'm sad that we didn't
You
hear
smell my
from,
vagina burning?
That's
If music comes out of a vagina, I love it.
Damn.
wow, that's for real. Like,
Damn.
You got
do you glow in the dark? I'm sad we didn't hear from Bernard.
Petri.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thank you for listening to the More Better Narrative podcast. Find us at mbnpodcast.com or on iTunes. For more information, visit us on Twitter or Facebook at mbnpodcast.com or email us at morebetternarrative@gmail.com.